against pretty traditional Makto control, JPS control. You got your Places of Defiance, you got your Eyebolt, your Hailstorm, your Slays, Nothing Remains, a Duelist Blade, and of course your playset of Inquisitor Makto, whose revenge never ends.
Gotta love that guy. Yeah, this is going to be an interesting match. So it's classic aggro versus classic mid-range control.
We
Who do
generally
you
have
think is favored?
I think Marcus is pretty favored here, especially since they are running almost a full playset of Stormhold Knife, which is an absolutely back-breaking card against good aggro starts. They can totally stop your momentum on the board. Just slowly use that breath to kind of like get back into the game.
Yep, that's true. I think the Yetis actually, in my experience, have the advantage. Whenever I'm on my control decks, Yetis seem to be the one deck that I just don't want to play against. They come out of the gates so fast. So I'm very curious to see how this matches up.
Yetis have a lot of explosion potential. Absolutely. They have, I believe, if you are playing full play sets of Tadrock's Masterpiece, Maskmaker, and Wump, you have access to 12 Lord effects, which is huge. You're basically always going to have a +1/+1 Yeti board. And then, of course, you have acceleration by ways of the 3/2 Yeti Explorer with Reckless. You have fantastic reach by way of Torque, which is of course a relatively recent release from Cold Hunt, doing a lot of heavy lifting in both formats. Um, so it's definitely a matchup where it can go both ways, but I think my money is initially on the control deck.
Yep, that's fair. Although these Yetis are getting off to quite a nice start here. Thudrock's Masterwork's going to give everybody +1/+1. He does have a Defiance to deal with one of these threats, but all those Aegises.
Yeah. We see jump kick going right onto the mischief yeti, triggering the renown and drawing a boss a snowball, which is gonna be very very important since they have a torque in hand. Torque can generate another snowball, and if Torque manages to activate its ultimate, that's gonna be 4 points of reach that are sitting in a boss's hand.
Yep, very true.
We're gonna see a Genev merchant here from Marcus. Decently on Stonewall. Does have ages, so it cannot be easily fended off by Tadrok's Masterpiece. We're gonna see a
Yep.
snowball on it anyway, just to make sure. So there are a couple. This is a bit of an interesting intersection here for A-Boss. Do you play the Permafrost on the Genev merchant and just smash in for 6? Or do you want to just like smash in for 6 anyway, take the trade, and then contract the Torque and start building up that massive reach into your hand?
Looks like we're going straight in. Okay.
And I was going straight in,
So,
very much softening up Marcus here. Gonna see
yeah, it looks
fend
like we're
off.
playing around maybe potential removal coming down. Just you only want to develop a few units against these control decks because it's just so easy for them to sweep away boards.
Yeah. These particular two Aegis units in the form of these two Snowcrest Yetis getting in for absolutely huge amounts of damage here. And we do have an impressive 5 points of reach from Abos's hand. However, MarkusGwyndol sitting on two Stormhold knives. Stormhold knife, for people know, it is a relic weapon, a 5/5 relic weapon that is free if you are at less than 10 health, which makes for a very effective power swing. Here we're gonna see Tadrock's Masterpiece pop for a Tadrock, its namesake. Tadrock here actually quite problematic, as Markus does not have a clean removal spell for it.
Yeah, Markus in desperate need of a sweeper because these Yetis are. Oh, there it is.
Oh
Okay,
shit, am I?
so
Okay, that's weird. Am I
so the
good?
weapon gives us a little bit of life, and if we can survive one more turn, we can sweep the board. But it
Let's
looks.
see the
Oh no!
result.
All right, Dazzle can stun the Thudrock.
Yeah. This Markus. Oh no, they're just dead. Yeah. Snowball into Torch.
Oh, yep.
Yeah. Reach is good, and Yetis has a lot of it. The huge versatility of the snowballs cannot be underestimated, and it's really what makes Torque such a good addition to this deck. Just having a snowball source, especially after Pokpok's nerf, which Pok has left the deck after its layer's nerf. It's so important, especially when Torque, if it survives, it can turn those snowballs into huge sources of damage. Apart from their versatility at things such, like popping Aegis.
Yeah, the Yetis didn't. I mean, there were a few Yetis there, but it wasn't really like massive pressure. It was just a lot of incremental damage that just added up. I mean, he went through 2 weapons worth of health, so 10 extra health, 35 damage, and the Yetis just came through no problem.
Yep, Yeti's interaction is limited, but in its limits, it definitely performs much better than one would initially think when looking at the cards.
Yeah, also in the Mocto control list, there really aren't a lot of unit roadblocks for the Yetis to worry about, which is usually one of their bigger concerns. They have to worry about Genève Merchant, but other than that, the only thing to deal with the Yetis are sweepers and targeted removal.
Yeah, and very importantly, we haven't talked about this, but Zultan Conclave, absolutely fantastic addition to this deck. It is so very important to be able to hit that second primal influence in time for Wump, in time for Tadrock's Masterpiece. Hell, even in time for some of your emblem triggers that you might want to decimate for extra pressure on the board.
Yeah, and previously it was awkward to get that power, or it would come in depleted and slow you down. But the Conclave just lets you do whatever you need to do. It's a very strong addition.
Yeah, sometimes a simple addition like that is really all that the deck needs to get back onto the mainstream. Let's see a plunk here from A-Boss. Markus, again, holding on to a rather awkward hand here. We have a little bit of interaction in the form of Slay. We do have a harsh rule, but we're ways away from it. Second Tadrock's Masterpiece from A-Boss. Huge top decks here.
And did that merchant not get anything?
I think it might have gotten a power. I think I missed that.
No power originally in the market, so I think we just opted to skip the merchant, just playing it as that roadblock to, I assume, block Wump.
That is interesting. I mean, that's definitely a valid play, and Markus's market features Savage Incursion, Turn to Seed, Vision of Austerity, Scourge of Frost, and Corvia Palace. So nothing here that really makes a huge impact on the board. One could argue for Turn to Seed to maybe pop the Plank's Aegis, but even if you do manage to get a really good harsh rule, you're still gonna have to deal with the Fudrock from the Monument.
Yep. So, oh wow, Wisdom instead of nope. All right, and that's it. A-Boss coming in hot with those Yetis. So is A-Boss 4-1 or 5-0?
Well, okay.
Okay, so it looks like A Boss is 4-1, and I think a lock for the top 8. But before we figure out who's in the top 8, let's see if we have any backup matches to go to.
Yeah, Yetis, especially in that matchup, I think we really saw the power of Zul'dan Conclave. Being able to play those those Star Rocks masterpieces just like smoothly uninterrupted is just what you want to see.
Yep, absolutely. All right, so we are into our backup match. What do we have here? Xenon against Combray?
Yeah, this is a Xenon mid-range deck against classic Combrelix.
This is a matchup I have played many times, unfortunately. I think
what is the result in your experience?
in my experience, Combray Relics takes this down.
Yeah.
I don't know. I wasn't playing with some of these new cards, and I don't think I didn't really have Tuvons in my Xenon deck, so that could be a big difference. Tuvon is big game against these decks with the sweepers.
Yeah, Tuvon can generate a lot of card advantage, and it really helps you basically build back after a big Shenra speaks, after a big Equalize from the opponent. Speaking of cards that help you build up, Krogi is running 2 copies of Dunehill Clan, which is a new card from Unleashed. It's a 5/5 endurance for 4 with Unleash.
Wow. Okay. With endurance too. Nice.
Yeah, it's basically Sandstorm Titan, right?
Yeah. Yeah, but with Unleash, I mean that's a pretty big body for Unleash. Wow, and look at all the cards in hand on the side of Ombre Relics. Although those equalizes are definitely looking awkward. That's going to be a lot of discarding if we have to use those for our sweeper. It looks like that's what we're setting up.
Yeah, and your Shadow on sitting on a devastating equalize here against Krogi, and there it is.
Wow, plays the equalize before playing anything else? That I don't know how I feel about that.
Well, do you need to play anything else? You can just go equalize, then Covenant Gemstone, and like basically.
Well, if you play the gemstone, you just discard one less card, right?
That's a fair point. Yeah, that's actually a fair point. Sequencing could have been better there. We rolling a charge dino and then playing Nash Desert Prince. Nash not a huge factor in this matchup. It can generally pick off a Diana of the air. That's mostly about it. I'll see a new beginning here from Near Shadow. They can probably hold off on that second equalize for a turn or so. See if they can get up some extra value from Krogi.
I think that given their hand, they're likely to just run it out right now. Yep. The hands were at parity. You could have saved it for a little longer, but
yeah, that was my thinking. Twin Spitling, again, these cards, Twin Spitling and Nash the Prince. These are just cards that don't really have a lot of overall impact against Combray Relics' game plan. Is the main issue? Like,
wow! The rolls on the speaking circle. So annihilate, lightning storm. Brutal. That cleans the board. How many turns do we have on the dinosaur nest? I think 2 more turns.
Yes, I think dinosaur nest is on the second dino.
So we can get the circle down to 1.
Wow. Absolutely brutal.
Oh, charge! No, we did it. Dinosaur nest.
Do not speak too soon when dinosaur nest is on the board.
Wow. That was The
All
perfect
right.
roll.
We're Crowley actually on a pretty decent board position here. And I spoke this one as well because because there's a builder's decree from Neo Shadow, which will help them generate some blockers here.
Yeah, but you might want to save it for a turn. You're on 8 power. If you get to 9 power, you get 2 9/9s instead of 1 8/8, which is a big difference.
It is
And
it is
given that you're at 22 life, I think you have a little bit of life to spare.
Yeah, it is. It
Oh,
is a
I'm
it is a
wrong.
huge difference, especially when you are staring down a twin spitling, which twin spitling. This is one of the few scenarios where it's actually really good in this matchup. Yeah, and there's
Yep.
the second power
And
that Newer Shadow could have used for the second amplify.
so we did stop the merchant at least for 2 turns, but I would say that Croge is definitely slightly ahead currently.
Croge also playing a Tokas and immediately twisting it twice, I believe, which gets them to 10 power. Basically, they can play anything off the top and merchant plus anything off their market, I believe. Their
Yeah,
market,
this
which
curtain call
contains.
is sorry, this curtain call is actually going to be really, really solid for Croce because even if Newer Shadow can find some sort of sweeper, the curtain call prevents them all from dying.
Yep. So Kuroji has Xenon Temple in their market, so they can go Xenon Temple into Xenon Initiation, kill the 8/8 and start smashing in for tons of damage right away, putting them firmly in the driver's seat.
Yeah, the only downside is that they would have to get rid of one of these curtain calls, so I think they might want to wait given that there isn't too much pressure coming from Newer Shadow side. But that's tough because if you give Newer Shadow too many chances to draw, you'll all of a sudden find yourself in a very awkward position.
That's definitely a consideration, and we do see Krog just a spacing here,
So I
and
wonder if we're gonna double curtain call to kill the 8/8.
that is definitely a possibility, and
Yep.
that's indeed what we're seeing.
And
How
in
much
addition to
damage is
killing the
this?
8/8, that's a lot of lifesteal.
That is a lot of lifestyle indeed. 16 damage to face alongside a bunch of lifestyle. We are 46, sitting comfortably, and that's gonna be a scoop from Neo Shadow. And that puts the match, that puts the leaderboard on 1-1.
All right, this is definitely a tight match. Easily,
Yeah.
any deck can come out of this.
Yeah, we talked previously about how the Builder's Decree may have been held off an extra turn for two units. I think the 2 units would have made quite the difference in that board state.
Yeah, it
So
would have
that's
allowed Newer Shadow to apply significantly more pressure, uh, whereas the single unit was just kept in check by the deadly.
absolutely. And it might have put extra pressure on Krogi to go get that Xenon Temple to properly deal with at least one of the big units. We see here from Krogi a hand with Exploit, Dinosaur Nest, Time Etchings. Pretty standard stuff. Interaction. It's what you like to see in these matchups against a somewhat heavy control deck like Umbrelix. Meanwhile on the
Absolutely.
Umbrelix side, we have Equalize, Diana, and we have a couple of ramp cards. Not a lot. It's a pretty slow hand, but if it gets there, it does have some pretty powerful things to do.
Dinosaur Nest on 2 is pretty much the best thing Croge can be doing in this spot. It really puts a lot of pressure for not a lot of investment.
Not only that, but Kuroji is sitting on 2 exploits, which can absolutely decimate Neo Shadow's hand, especially if they do not fire this Equalize right away. No, they will go for New Beginning.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense for them to fire off the Equalize yet. They have no idea the exploit's coming in for them, but they do now.
So exploit number one.
All right, so this one probably takes. Oh, yep. Okay, the equalize, and then do you fire off again to get rid of the builder's decree?
I think that is very reasonable. Yeah, Builder's
Yep.
Decree just takes off
Yeah,
any
it's
form
so
of
scary.
yeah. This play takes off the main form of real pressure that Neo Shadow has. And if they try to play the Diana, then just Nash comes down, and there's a huge tempo play in Krog's favor.
Well, they actually can't play the Diana. They need a little bit more influence for that.
Oh, getting actually getting a lot of justice influence from these new beginnings.
Yeah, and this ramp doesn't seem like much, but it really is setting Newer Shadow up to, if they do draw one of their sweepers, they'll be in a commanding position.
Absolutely, but right now we see them basically drawing what in this board state amounts to bricks.
Yeah, but he's got the weapon next
Are
turn.
we gonna see a double Diana here? That might have been the case previously. Yeah, with the Shenra speaks, he probably just want to fire off the new beginning. Keep going.
Absolutely. Well, if you can ever live the dream of
Oh
ulting
my
that
god,
Diana.
and another exploit off the top for Krogi. Absolutely busted.
Yeah, that's gonna hurt. Oh, especially because the weapon cannot deal with Tuvan.
That is indeed the case.
Tuvan is now too big.
Tovan just going places, swinging in for huge beats.
All right.
Brick
Think you have to Diana.
for
You
Neo
have to
Shadow.
Diana and Dream. Yeah.
Yeah, we do. You definitely want to do something that hopefully draws you into more interaction. That is
Okay.
interaction, but I'm not sure it's the kind of interaction that Newer Shadow needs exactly right now. So it's gonna
Well,
be a
it's a
10-10.
10-10. The big part of it is just that it's a 10-10.
We take those. Getting a Moonstone Vanguard here.
Yeah, that Moonstone Vanguard. Well, no, I think we're actually gonna. Yeah, Spiteling comes with a very big friend.
Hmm.
Wait, what? Oh.
Oh. Huh.
Yeah, I was like, it's like, why are we throwing away Tuvan? Okay, so we're taking down the 10-10.
Yeah, no, I think that's a fair play, especially seeing as Krogi has Moonstone Vanguard in hand, which is a card that can very deftly generate a lot of card advantage very quickly. I see a Stormhold Plating come down here.
Takes down
Getting
2 threats.
yeah.
And we even have the Defiance to stun the 7/7, so you don't have to block that.
Well, 8/8 currently.
Oh, yep.
Send an agent. Remind me what send an agent does.
That will kill any monocolored unit or relic. So that will kill the
Ouch.
plating.
Yeah, I was making a think about the Dianas. Killing the plating is actually quite good here. You can probably just hold onto send an agent as it is a fast spell. Just hope to see what the opponent does if they top deck like a Shenra Speaks or Harshal, whatever. They might fire it off, try to get in for 12, and you get send an agent and follow up, which is very solid.
Yep.
Oh,
One
Desert
power
Marshal.
shy of activating these Dianas, so that's a very real threat.
Desert Marshal here, absolutely brutal top deck against that time against that time unit. Where it is a 0/0 and its text is what conveys the extra stats. So if it is silenced, it reverts down to a 0/0. Although currently it is being kept in check pretty well just by being stunned.
Oh,
Nash,
oh. Yeah, we're gonna see the silence.
yeah. Nash having some great targets here.
Yeah, Nash is about to do a ton of work. Wow.
Yeah. So Nash, six power, double time, 6/6. Summon, put each unit with flying on the bottom of its owner's deck, and then at the start of your turn, it plays a 1/1 with killer, if I remember correctly.
Yep, that is correct.
Yeah, these 1/1s with killer are actually gonna be very very crucial to Krogi because it will help stave off the pressure that the Furious Magniventrix that Neosha top deck will apply. There's the Furious Magniventrix deck.
Yep, and I expect that we're just gonna chump with the killer. Alright, so Sabretooth is gonna ambush, and then where's the double block gonna go? Are we gonna kill the Moonstone Vanguard or the Nash?
Moonstone Vanguard, I think, is the very easy pick here. You really want to like stave off any card advantage engine that your opponent can assemble. Exploit,
Purely for the card draw.
yeah, being fired off here for a treasure trove. Logistics expert.
Oh, that's gonna be pretty sizable next turn.
Speaking circle can be pretty huge here. We've seen this card have some
Oh, an
have
equalize would be ridiculous here.
oh boy.
Snow pelting, I think that was.
Snow pelting, okay. These speaking circles are always exciting, not gonna lie. I love this kind of stuff.
A speaking circle is a very very interesting card. I know a lot of people don't like the RNG, but I'm a fan. I think that it is a very interesting and unique card. It does, high roll and low roll, sure, but it leads to some very fun games.
Yeah, my opinion of speaking circle is the same opinion that I have with the invoke cards, where yeah, there's higher roll potential, there's lower potential, but overall the average result will be interesting and lead to very different games within each iteration, which I think is overall fun and healthy for the game.
Yeah, I like all the extra little decision points, with the invokes and whatnot.
Zoomuk Coercion. Sacrifice a unit to draw a card from your market can be potentially very huge for Neo Shadow here. Getting Age-Worn Vestige. Very,
So,
very
is
difficult
this
position.
lethal if we just A space? No, puts him to 1.
6. No, it is lethal, right? Yeah, they can only block.
I think
Oh wait,
you
no.
jump the 9/9 and you take
You
6,
take
7,
8.
8, right?
Yeah. Sorry, I thought the Uranias from Nash had charge for some reason. Does this Xenon midrange deck have any sort of reach? I don't believe that's the case.
Oh my gosh, look at this equalized draw.
Oh, good lord.
So we can do it all if we want.
Equalized plus Stonehold plating.
Now we have even a better weapon. That's incredible.
That is disgusting.
What a sweeper.
My favorite part of Equalize
does still have gas left.
That's true. My favorite part of Equalize is when you have to individually go and click each of the units that are gonna die anyway.
Yeah, it's always a little extra tilting when you're like, why doesn't it just automatically sacrifice my units? Like, why do I have to choose every single unit on my board to die?
Would you please now proceed to click your entire board for us?
And then my whole hand.
I'll head Ascending, not quite the what we want to see here. Another copy of Twin Spitling would be really solid here. So Near Shadow
So,
can potentially
I'm thinking the
go.
weapon is just gonna sweep the board again.
Yeah, yeah. I really like Age-1 Vestige here. Just keep the board clean. Your speaking circle is gonna pop next turn. That's a lot of board pressure that you're putting on. Yeah, easy does it.
Yep.
So close yet so far. Have you ever seen the Queen of Glass being played?
Yes, I have. I played a lot of Speaking Circle, so I definitely have had my share of Queens of Glasses in play,
I
and they're real good. In case you were wondering.
I mostly play against Combrelic, so I generally try to pop all of the ones I see. For people that are unaware, the Queen of Glass is a 7/7 regen unblockable. Your other units are awakened and can't die while you have the Queen of Glass, which is, pretty good.
Yeah, it feels really good when you harsh roll, and the only thing that dies is your Queen of Glass.
Yeah, we're being informed that was the last
All
game
right,
of
so
the
looks
round.
like that was the last game of the round. So we're gonna take a quick break, figure out our top 8, and we'll be back soon.